For some reason, with this lighting and this wig and no makeup on, I look like an Asian boy. Like, no, there's no racism intended. Asian guys are hot. I just look like one. But then when I spin right here, whoa, turn that light on, I look like Sydney again. Hello. What's up, YouTube? It's Sydney Island here. That's Island with the Y, not an S, and I don't even know where to look, y'all. I got this new iPhone. I'm an iPhone user now. Switched from Android to iPhone. What is this? What the fuck is that on my phone? What the hell? It's a new phone. I ain't trying to get a jackpot. So, this one is all about the depression of a Libra. I'm going through the depression of all 12 signs. I have a few more left. The next one I'm going to be filming is Scorpio. And then after that, Capricorn, and so on, until we finished, and we're going to end with Pisces, because we're going in order. Okay, so the depression of a Libra. All zodiac signs are prone to depression. Okay, let's start off with saying that. All zodiac signs can fall into a depression. All zodiac signs can feel sad about how shitty the world is. Okay, Libras fall into a depression for a few reasons. In these depression videos, I'm explaining what makes this particular sign feel depressed and what helps this particular sign to feel less depressed, or how does this sign go through depression, and how do they appear when they're depressed. You know, different signs handles their depression in different ways. Keep in mind that whatever's in your birth chart, your moon sign, your Venus, your rising, your Mercury, that also comes into play with how you handle your depression and your mental state. So don't just go straight off of your sun sign. With these depression of the sign, I'll more so focus on my moon sign and, you know, my Mars or my Venus. If you feel more like this sign, focus more on this sign, okay? The depression of a Libra. The first thing I wrote down was indecision. Libras are very indecisive. Because I have a Libra moon, by the way, which your moon is rules your moods and your emotions. And it also rules your hidden self and your subconscious and your inner self and the things that you hide, right? So on the inside, I'm a Libra. And I can be extremely indecisive, especially about my moods and my emotions, since the moon rules your moods and your emotions, and it's in Libra for me, right? So I can be very, very, very indecisive about how I feel. Sometimes I'm like, am I happy? Am I sad? Am I angry? I don't know how I feel about you. I don't know how I feel about my feelings towards you. I don't know how I feel about my feelings, you know? So Libras, this can make them depressed because they're always jumping back and forth, and it stresses them out that they just can never make a decision about anything. What do I feel? What do I do? Who do I date? Should I date him or should I date her? It's always some type of confusion. And this makes Libras depressed because they feel like that they're always torn between two worlds. And it's always like the world of dark and light, or the world of euphoria and dysphoria, you know? Libras find themselves feeling kind of trapped because they find it hard to identify. They find it hard to give themselves an identity. So sometimes Libras may lack an identity. Sometimes people who have an even deeper placement like a Libra moon, these people may be confused about who they are. What do they want to wear? How do they want to communicate? What type of friends should they hang around? What job should they have? So they may not even know who they are, and they just are so confused. And so identity confusion is huge for Libra energy and also Gemini energy. They don't know who they are sometimes. And this makes them depressed because they feel like that they don't quite fit in anywhere in particular, because they're kind of floating through life just fitting anywhere with anybody, and that makes them feel like that they don't have much power and control over their own identity and power and control over who they are. Okay, so number 2, I wrote Libra depression, relationships and others. So the sign of Libra, the house of Libra, more precisely the 7th house, the house of Libra, is about marriage and relationships and partnerships and the other, you know, siblings and other people other than yourself. Because Aries is the opposite to Libra, and Aries is all about the self, right? And so Libras, they care a lot about what other people think, and they care a lot about being in relationships. And these are the type of people that don't really like to be single for too long, especially Libra moon people. This makes them feel depressed when they're single for too long. They don't like being alone for too long because then they get wrapped up in their thoughts, and they feel trapped when they're alone, you know? They don't like being trapped in a world where it's just them and nobody else. It's kind of scary for a Libra, and this makes a Libra depressed loneliness, being alone for too long, and also being in an unhealthy relationship. Because Libras care a lot about, sorry if the camera's shaking a little bit. Libras care a lot about their partners. They care a lot about those that are in their environment. So if their partner is depressed, they're going to feel depressed, because Libras are kind of chameleons of emotion. So they take on the emotions of those that are in their relationships. Not only are they chameleons of emotions, but they're chameleons of personality and identity, because these people sometimes don't have a strong sense of self. So when they get into relationships, they can sometimes act like their partner, talk like their partner, and just become like their partner. And so if whatever negative traits and habits their partner has, they may adopt those as well. And it may make them feel lost and essentially depressed, right? And so whoever they're in a relationship with, how they are treated in their relationship will affect their mental state. So if they're in a relationship with somebody who is abusive, this is going to make them feel very depressed. And if they're single for too long and they're by themselves and they abuse themselves while they're alone or being single, this will also make them feel depressed. Okay? So number 3, Libras have a need. Libras have a need for balance. Okay? Libras have a need for balance. And when I say balance, I mean they have a need for balance in every sense of the word. They need balance in their environment. They need inner balance. That's really at the root of what I mean when I say balance. They need inner balance. They need to feel balanced inside of themselves. They need to have a balanced view of life. I've noticed typically Libra energy, well, since the check out this eczema right here. I keep looking at it like I got eczema. Anyways, so Libra energy, their symbol is the scales, right? So the scale is all about balance. It's all about weighing both sides equally. So a Libra who is more negative and depressive may fall too much on one side. So they may be too opinionated. When the life path of a Libra, you should try not to be so opinionated unless your North Node is, say, an Aries North Node, which is the opposite of Libra. Then you should try to be more independent and opinionated. It gets a little confusing sometimes. Sorry if I confused y'all. I apologize. But at the end of the day, no matter what your North Node... Oh, I can't, y'all. I cannot. At the end of the day, no matter what your North Node is, you need to have internal balance. You need to balance your perspective on life and not be too negative or too positive. Try not to be too naive, you know? And also for Libras, try not to be too idealistic, because Libras have a tendency to be too idealistic. Sometimes they have like these high expectations for people and life, and they're always on the hunt for, I'm gonna mention partners again because Libra is all about partnership. They're always on the hunt for the perfect partner. They have very high standards in relationships. And so when they're not with that person that they feel is their perfect partner, they will fall into a depression, because a big part of their life is trying to find the perfect partner. And that's a big, huge part of why a Libra would become depressed. A lot of times it's about another person. Of course, all Libras are not going to feel this way. But typically what I've realized is most human beings want love. Most human beings want a partnership, which is something that I had to actually face myself, having this Libra moon, knowing that I need a partnership because I have a Libra moon, but denying that because of my freaking Venus in the 10th house. But you know, that's a whole nother thing for another video. I got a lot of problems. But what was I talking about? Oh, a need for balance. Yeah, you need to balance some shit. Okay, you need to have a balance of chaos and peace, actually. You know, if things are always like too peaceful and too easy, is that really life? Are you really learning anything, Libra? Libra sometimes want things to be too easy to a point where they don't have a life and they're lazy. You know, Libras are prone to laziness because they just don't want drama. They don't want chaos. They don't want too much of anything. You know, they want a balance of everything. They don't want to have too much of anything. And so it's all about balance. This helps a Libra's depression immensely. If you can find a balance within yourself, and a balance between your social life and your work life, and a balance between, you know, just balancing your diet or whatever it is, just seek balance. That will be, like, for me, that's the number one way for a Libra to cope with their depression or to, you know, heal their depression is to find inner balance. And essentially, inner balance will lead to inner peace, which is what we all want. Is this lighting good? Wow. Wow. This new camera is, I love it. The lighting is so good. Okay. And before I put environment, so wherever you are in your life right now, Libra, as far as your environment and the people that you're around and the job that you're in right now, that all of that is affecting your mental health, because it's going to affect everybody's mental health, but especially you, Libra, because you are very, very sensitive to your environment. Because you are the sign of others and things outside of yourself, you're very, very sensitive to the people that are around you. You're very sensitive to the energies that you get from the people around you. You're very sensitive to the sounds that you hear around you. A lot of Libras would prefer to be in peaceful environments with peaceful music, and you know, nobody's fighting and arguing. We're all just laughing and having a good time. You know, Libras need peace, a peaceful environment. If they're in a toxic environment where somebody is always, you know, picking on them, or they feel they can never relax because say if a Libra's in an abusive home or something, or you know, they're in an environment where they feel that they always have to defend themselves all the time, that will cause a Libra to be very depressed. And I'm speaking from experience. Having a Libra moon, which to the core, I'm very Libra, since, you know, the moon is your hidden self, is your inner self. So I don't like being in an environment where there's a lot of drama, because I don't like to have to constantly defend myself. Aries is the opposite sign of Libra. Aries are good at defending themselves, sometimes to a point where they defend themselves when they don't need to. Libra, on the other hand, has a tendency to not defend themselves when they should, you know, and that's definitely been my problem, you know what I'm saying, just being too dang nice, too dang soft, but never again. But anyways, number 5, people pleaser. Okay, this is the final one, and I might add something else towards the end if I think of anything, but Libras are mad people pleasers. Libra suns, Libra moons, Libra Venuses, Libra Mars, yes, definitely. Your constant need to please other people causes you to be depressed. You always feel like you need to say the right thing to the right person. You don't want to say anything that hurts anybody's feelings. You always want to be precise with your communication. You always want to be that friend that everybody loves. But you can't always be that, because this is the real life. Like, sometimes you gotta be an asshole sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta say that thing that you don't want to say to somebody so they can leave you the hell alone, or so they can stop picking on you. Libras don't like to have people not like them, so they won't stand up for themselves. So for me, I've had many times in my life where I didn't stand up for myself because I didn't want to start drama, or I didn't want to be negative or anything like that. And then it would cause me to be internally depressed. It would cause me to be unhappy. It would cause me to be anxious. And then I would feel like, man, I just really want this person to know that the way they talk to me makes me feel really bad, but I just don't want to start anything. I don't want to, and it's weak. Yes, I'm admitting it. I've been weak. I've been stupid. But I'm also human. And I did get to a point where I was like, I can't live like this anymore. I have to tell this person that they're hurting me. You know, and I'm thinking about, like, before quarantine happened, and I was working at retail, I had a manager who was really disrespectful to me, who was old enough to be my mother. She was disrespectful to me, and I kind of just dealt with it, and my feelings was getting hurt a lot, but I just let her, until I got to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I had to explode and, like, just tell her, like, yo, you can't talk to me like that, you know. And Libras can do that, where they have this secret pent-up resentment towards people because they were not bold enough to just speak up and say, hey, you hurt my feelings, or hey, you're talking to me funny, I don't like that. So Libras have that issue with standing up for themselves, and then they hold on to this resentment towards other people, when really it's them just not speaking up. They wouldn't make you feel that way if you would have spoke up about it, you know? So that's, what else? Yeah, Libra's depression, a lot of times it naturally does stem from other people. It stems from relationships. It stems from the environment. It stems from your need for balance. So yeah, I feel like Libras, I feel like all signs are prone to depression. But in Libra's case, if Libra has the right people in he or she's life, their depression, it eases a little bit. Okay? If they have a really good partner, a lot of times their depression lifts. Because Libras are lovers. They love love. They love romance. So if they're satisfied in their romantic life, typically they're satisfied as a whole. Hold on. I got a little poem that I wrote called Libra Moon Panic. Man, it's gonna get a little personal. But we're gonna read it, okay? Since we're talking about Libras and all that jazz, why not? Let me just set the camera right. We can't do that. Can we do that? Can we? Can I? Hi. Let's just go into it. Okay. Libra Moon Panic. Here comes the feeling again. Chest tightness. Crying and then laughing. Crying, giggling, chuckling, crying again. Why am I still alone? Why, of all the hells presented to me, did I choose this one? The innate need for another, yet never appease the need. Yet never appeasing the need, I'm sorry. Yeah, the innate need for another, yet never appeasing the need. Is it all me? I mean, shit, I know I'm picky, but consistently lonely? Touch deprived, sexually frustrated. If I have to masturbate again, I'll lose my mind. I'm sick of having this desire. It's old, boring, and dried out. Yeah. I honestly didn't even know what was in that poem until I read it. And while I was reading it, I'm like, should I post this? Airing my dirty laundry. But I actually like this lighting. It highlights all of my bumps and eczema. Isn't it glorious? Yeah, so let's pick up this dang camera. Here's the outro. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're interested in having your birth chart read by moi, meaning me in French, email me. All of that will be in the description box below. Okay. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing me at these various weird angles and lightings with this new camera. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the angle and the lighting, but I'm getting a selfie stick soon, so we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with that. Yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.